Secret Weapon. I want to thank you for joining us for this Sunday night live. We're getting ready to start here in just a couple of minutes here. We'll start about 8:30, but I wanted to welcome you. If you've never been to a live, here's what you can expect. Just go ahead and chat in your comment section, on whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on YouTube. Just ask your question, leave your comment there, and then as we go through the time, I just kind of scroll down all the comments and I try to answer them. Now, if it's something that I need to ask you a question, I may ask you a question and just put it in the chat again, and I'll come back and I'll get that information so I can give you a more personalized response, something that's going to really add value for you. This is just something I do. One, it's great fun. I really enjoy it. It's helpful for the community, just sharing my knowledge. Now, one thing that you need to know, I don't know everything about boats. I know a lot about boats. I've been a boater since I was 5. I've sold boats. It's something that is a big part of my life. With that said, I don't know everything. Matter of fact, sailboats, have zero experience with sailboats. Bass boats, very little experience there. Bow riders, deck boats, center consoles, jet boats, twin engines, stern drives, outboards, inboards, all of that I have experience with. And if I have an answer, I'll give you my best answer. If I don't have an answer, I'll try to give you a resource that will be valuable for you. If I have an opinion, I'll try to give you that opinion, but let you know this is what I think, not what I absolutely know. So I look forward to it. Here's a little video intro that a subscriber made for me. Thanks, Bo. And we'll see you on the live when it kicks off here in just a moment. Welcome, everybody. Captain Matt, Boater Secret Weapon here for our Sunday live. Let me know that you all can hear me, that we are ready to go. I'm back home. If you were with us last week, you know that we had a few technical difficulties. We had Brock joined us, and he was an awesome guest. What I didn't know, that it was Brock's parents' wedding anniversary, like 40th, I think, maybe. I don't think 50th, but it was a big one. And so happy anniversary to them. And Brock, thanks for joining us after the party and getting your kids down. I know what that's like. So let me know. All right. Huck says we're loud and clear. So Ray, welcome. Brock, welcome back. Corey, how you doing? I don't recognize your name, so welcome. Rhonda, another one of my favorites out in Myrtle Beach. You've seen Rhonda talking about the best boat captain. And matter of fact, Rhonda, I got your picture the other day of you in your Boater Secret Weapon gear, and I'll put that in the newsletter, I think, coming up. So welcome, Rhonda. Glad to have you on the live. Rainy and humid in Indiana. Same with us. I was in Tennessee for the week at my in-laws' lake place, and we got rain every single day. So all right, questions are already coming in. If you haven't been on the live, hopefully you saw that intro. That just throw your question in the chat. We'll get to it. If you got something to add to the conversation, throw that in as well, and we'll just go through here for the next hour or so and see what we get into. So, all right. What do you recommend to do when you take your boat from freshwater to saltwater? William, first of all, what kind of boat do you have and what kind of drive do you have? Is it an outboard? Is it a pontoon? Is it a stern drive? That will matter a little bit, but as you're answering that, I'll give you the basics. The big thing is going from freshwater to saltwater. Nothing. You don't need to do really anything there. The one thing that I might do is if the boat's not all good and polished, you got a good coat of wax on it, you've got your stainless, got that all clean. So you start clean, because the biggest thing to do is after you're done with salt. So that's the big thing. The other thing I would say is if you're trailering, obviously, you want to make sure your hubs are good and greased. You want to make sure that your trailer is saltwater ready, almost to speak. So you don't want to put like a painted trailer in saltwater. You're going to start the rust and the corrosion, and you're going to have a hard time. So hopefully you got a galvanized or an aluminum trailer. but make sure your hubs are all the greases in there, because you don't want any of that seawater to get in if you back it down, and get the wheels under, which is probably the easiest way to do. Although I had a guy that bought a Boston whaler from me, that was up in the Northeast, and he insisted on not getting his tires even wet, and he winched this boat up on a dry trailer, and I had never seen it before. So, but it's a whole nother story. Going going from salt back to your normal life, now this is where you've got to take some action. So the first thing, William, is everything gets rinsed with fresh water as soon as you can. So everything gets flushed as soon as you can. So even if it's an outboard, you want to use your flush port, depending on what year it is. If you just got attach the hose to it and let it run, if you have to hook up to muffs, Salt Away is a product that I think most saltwater boaters would recommend, and that it's the system. I've talked to the owner that her family, maybe her father, invented it, but that's a product that will get the residue salt out. There's you got to follow the process on the bottle for it to work properly. But I saw some cutouts that were pretty impressive, showing what that could do. But that's the big thing, is just get all of that salt water off and out of the system. So, really spray it down, wash that boat as quickly as you can. If you're somewhere where you have access to water, just do it right there. Maybe if you're not too far away from your freshwater, hey, just dump it right in the lake when you get back and run it. If that's only a short drive away. Let's see what center console. 200. Okay, yeah. So center console 200 outboard is really, you're just spraying everything down. Pull that plug, get all the water out. Any lee, or if there's any moss or seaweed or anything that gets on your trailer, make sure you leave that at the coastal boat ramp before you go over. But it's really just about cleaning it and getting that salt and out of the engine, as well as off of the boat, off of your stainless, off of your aluminum, even spraying down your covers and things like that, because and the trailer, spraying down the trailer, because if you just leave that salt on there for any period of time, it's going to start that rust and corrosion. But it's a easy freshwater to salt, not much to think about. Salt, when you're done with the salt, is when the work begins. So, all right, awesome. Corey says, just bought a Regal 1900 Volvo Penta 4.3, 2010. Awesome. Congratulations, Corey. I hope you guys are enjoying it. And thanks for you can hear me on the YouTubes. Congratulations, Corey. That's awesome. If it's your first boat, hopefully, maybe this is even how you found us, but get the Boater Boot Camp. It'll walk you through all the systems and some basic, just stuff to get you sort of acclimated into the world of boating, to think about what questions to ask, things that you should know as a boater that you will be helpful, will save you some time, save you some money. And then if you're operating your boat and you want to make sure that goes easier, the best boat captain program is this one, the boot camp, totally free. You just sign up for boaterbootcamp.com. The best boat captain is a paid program. So I would encourage you to participate in at least the boot camp, if not both of them. And I know some people on here have been through both of those as well. Let's see, 211 Hammer M. Welcome to the live. Hopefully you've watched the replays of the live. Russ, good to have you. Jay West, Central New York. Welcome from New York. Want to find out about your video series. So, all right, I jumped in there. So, I just, Corey, the Boater Boot Camp, you can just go get that for free. You can get it right now. And within 5 minutes, you'll have the login that you can start watching the videos there. There is a special offer for the best boat captain program. And then we've got, here's what we have on the best boat camp. We've got a single stern drive, pontoon. The single outboard is done. I just need to get my tech people to get it loaded up into the system. And the jet boat, the single engine inboard or wake boat, and the twin engine are going to be filmed late August. So those are coming. If you trailer, Corey, we have Trailer Like a Pro. I've got my bag of DVDs that are sitting next to me. That's what I'm looking at there. But Trailer Like a Pro, if you're doing water sports, we've got Tow Water Sports with Confidence, and all of those are available. Everything's got a money back guarantee. So check those out. Shoot me an email if there's a specific question you have. Be happy to answer that for you. What do I see boat prices in the next few years? So I need to do another market update. And I had some conversations this past week. My father-in-law is a financial planner, a very successful financial planner, been in the industry for, he's probably early 60s, and has 40 years probably that he's been in that, watching the markets. And I was talking to him and I said, hey, do you see a real serious threat of a recession? And he said, there's definitely that possibility. He's like, I don't think it's going to happen as long as we don't make any really bad decisions with the way things are going. But gas prices are starting to come down a little bit. The markets are doing okay. The Fed adjusted rates a couple days ago. The market rallied on that news. Now, he's a financial planner. So he watches the market. That doesn't necessarily correlate directly to the economy, right? For the normal people, but he watches it in regards to like the top 50% of household net worth, and that's what the boat buyer is. The boat buyer isn't the one that's just getting by day to day on minimum wage. And so he was pretty optimistic. For me, watching the boating inventory, kind of paying attention, I just got the Soundings Trade Only. This is an industry publication that came in the mail. And, you're starting to see inventory levels kind of climb back up. Still not to normal levels, but starting to climb back up. The lake I was at is in Knoxville, where there's a lot of boat builders. Sea Ray is there, Mastercraft is there, in right outside Knoxville, Von Roe, Tennessee, Bryant, part of Mastercraft. There's probably 15 different boat builders within a half hour of the lake I was on, near Lake Tellico. And they're still saying, hey, we're a year and a half out from fulfilling normal dealer inventory levels. We still have a backlog of production spots spoken for with the deposit. Some of those are refundable deposits. So if things go south, hey, give me my $1,000 back or keep my $500. I don't even care, but I'm not buying the boat. That certainly could happen. But here's what I see. And on new boats, I see them kind of leveling off. I don't see that big jumps that we have in the last year and a half or so. Used boats, I think, are going to continue to level off as well. But what I don't see is I don't see a crash. And here's the big reason why is because, yes, we've hit record numbers in the industry with boat sales, but it's not like they were producing 150% of what they did in 2018, 2019. The reality is they only increased production in the whole industry by about 10%, maybe 15% in some segments. So it's not like they flooded the market with new boats. They didn't even hit the same levels that of production like we did in 2006, 2007, 2008. So because of that, I don't see the market being flooded, but I do see the demand settling down. The capacity or the who is that? Oh, okay. Um, the here. Oh, here. Come here. This is one little special guest here tonight. That's Molly. But because of that, I don't see um the prices crashing, but the manufacturers have all added capacity in the last 2 years. There's been, I bet, probably 2 dozen facility expansions and new factories built, center consoles, pontoons specifically. But I don't see a crash, but I do see it leveling out. So if you're looking to buy and you haven't yet, and you're like, I'm okay. I talked to a lady on the phone the other day, Cherie, or actually she calls it Sherry, from she's in Ohio buying a pontoon in Michigan for their lake place. And she said, we're just getting settled in. We don't even need the boat until October or so. That's when we'll be there. And I said, well, here's what I would do is I would wait till after Labor Day. And if there is going to be some recessionary pressures on boat pricing to drop them down, that's when we're going to see it. So if you buy in October, November, December, probably the best opportunity to get your price, because I think the day of a boat going for sale and gone the next day and being 2 years out on production, I think they're going to catch up on the production and we're going to get back to a lot normal. So that was, I need to do a full video because there's a lot to unpack in all of those and show some actual numbers that would be valuable. So, all right. All right. We got a bunch of more questions coming in, so I'm going to have to speed this up a little bit. Concerned about sleeping in a V-berth with batteries. Any insight would be great. I'm not sure, Tom, what you mean by with batteries. The biggest concern I see sleeping on a V-berth is if you run a generator, make sure that your carbon monoxide detector is working. Test it every night before you go to bed. Make sure the batteries are fresh. Make sure you're good to go there. If you're a generator or somebody around you is running a generator for the carbon monoxide. But with your batteries, I wouldn't be too concerned. Tom, I don't remember what kind of boat you had. I know that you've been on. I know that you've been on the lives a few times. I recognize your name from the comments, I think, but I don't. Um, unless your concern is running the batteries dead, that might be what you're talking about. And again, it's going to matter what type of boat you have, how your panel's set up, but you probably have a starting battery, and then you have your accessory batteries that you can switch. So even if you run everything dead, all you got to do is crank back over to your starting battery. You probably have a battery switch. You may have something on your panel inside the cabin that's going to keep you from running dead. And then you can always bring a jump pack with you as well as a sort of a secondary backup. So that would be, unless there's something else that you're concerned about. Hopefully that answers your question. If not, Tom, put it back in. Put it back in the comments. Mark says, sounds like you know your way around Lake of the Ozarks. Was wondering if you could recommend a nice resort cabins with boat docks for family vacations. Mark, I'll tell you, where I've been going there since I was 5 years old. I just found out that I've been going there since I was 3 years old. My dad told me that we went one year when my sister was 1, and she's a couple years younger than me. So I started going there even younger than I knew. But my family's had a place there since '99, and I've been there pretty much every year, multiple times a year. At some points, if you want to be in the mix, you want to stay down by Osage Beach area. That's where all the big boats are. That's where all the big touristy stuff is. There's tons of bars and restaurants and big cruisers and everything that you could want down there. Where we are, and if you watch my video at Frank and Louie's, you'll see us go by not too far from the bridge that goes over the lake in Osage. But that's a good hour cruise from where my family's place is, which is up past the mile marker 31. And we're actually on mile marker 3 on the Niangua arm near the Niangua Bridge. That area, it's much quieter. It's near the cave. If you watch the video where I show you around the cave, the new restaurant that just opened up, that area gets a lot quieter. If you've got a smaller boat, if you're into more water sports, if you're into more just kind of being out by yourself, that's a great spot. You can go to VRBO. That's where we've listed our place on there. We rent it out just a handful of times a year, and we've been doing it for so long that we have like the same 5 families coming down every year that rent it. And if we're not there, those 5 families are there. But you can find some nice places there. And again, if you're into fishing, there's great fishing all around there. But maybe something near the Gravois arm would be a good spot where it's a little bit quieter. But it kind of depends on what you're looking for in your trip there. But I would check out VRBO. And Mark, feel free to just shoot me an email. Shoot me an email and say, hey, we're looking to do this, that, and the other. I've got a couple of friends that rent their place there that whether they're open or not, I have no idea. But if I can connect you guys, I'd be happy to do so and see if I can help you out. But there's tons of condos. The resorts, we went to Margaritaville. They've got a pretty nice resort there. If you've got kids, my kids loved it. They've got a water slide and great pools. The food is pretty good. It's right on the main channel, probably mile marker 17, 18, 20, something like that. But they've got a nice resort there that is available. Shoot me an email, and if I can help you out, be happy to do that. Boater Tom, welcome. Corey, so far, first boat, can I buy it online? Yeah, absolutely. If you go to bestboatcaptain.com, you can buy it directly. But Corey, I'll tell you, go to the Boater Boot Camp and buy it through there. You'll get a little bit of a discount going through Boater Boot Camp first. That's just sort of the way we've got it set up. And you can get that at boaterbootcamp.com. And you can have both of them within about 10, 15 minutes. Taylor Riley, looking to buy a liveaboard. Do you have any opinions on an 84 Viking 791 Silverton? All right, Taylor. So I will, Rhonda, thank you very much. Yeah, if Rhonda, I'll get back to you, Taylor, but I just saw Rhonda's comment right below you. You'll see me interview on the channel. If you look under Rhonda, you'll see me interview her talking about her experience with Best Boat Captain. And every couple of weeks, she sends me a picture of her out and about in Myrtle Beach or just doing something fun. She's always so fun. And it gives me a smile every time I see her email pop up. And I love that you're on the live today, Rhonda. Okay, so back to Taylor. So this is my recommendation on anybody buying older boats, and specifically if you're going to be a liveaboard. Now, Taylor, I don't know what your situation is, if you're just going to be a liveaboard and stay in the same marina, or if you're going to be a full-time cruiser. I can tell you, if you're a full-time cruiser, go check out my interview with Jim. Let me see if I can find it. Jim and Stephanie. It looks like all right. So this is Jim and Stephanie Palmer. They have been full-time cruisers for, I want to say they're on 4 years now. They have a 50-foot Carver bridge boat. They sold everything, and like 4 years ago, left from up in where were they? Up in Maryland, maybe, and have just been running up and down the East Coast. They go down in the wintertime, come back up in the summertime where their kids and grandkids are, and have loved it, absolutely loved it. So go check out that video. It'll be really interesting, especially if you're looking to go the full-time cruiser route. But on the liveaboard, it has more to do with that particular 84 Viking 44 and that particular Silverton 41. You want to say hi real quick?
Hello.
All right. Good night, babe. And so what you want to do is you really want to think about, okay, what does my liveaboard needs look like? Who's going to be on? Where's the sleeping going to be? Where are we going to berth this boat? If you've never owned a boat before, you want to check in insurance. It can be very difficult for a first-time boater to get insurance and a loan potentially if you're going to be financing any portion of it on a boat over 40 feet. Is kind of 38, 40 feet gets to be that cutoff where they say, hey, if you've never owned a boat before, we're not going to insure anything over 38, 40 feet because that's a lot of boat for you to handle. And then when you tell them you're liveaboard, then they're going to say, oh crap, liveaboards have the tendency to sink because they don't leave the dock very often. They're not kept up to be a running vessel. They're just maintained as a home, and they really don't like that. So the language of being a full-time cruiser, if that's the case, could be helpful for you to know. Getting your insurance kind of lined up. You can talk to Garrison at I'm back from vacation. My mind's not working totally right. Search insurance on my channel, and you'll find the interview with Garrison from Marine International Insurance is the name of it. And then you'll also want to check out the how use cruiser. So this video here is another video that you should watch on the channel, Taylor. How to buy a used cruiser 24 to 50 feet. There are so many systems that you need to go through in a boat that's even 10 years old. You know, there's going to be a lot of things that you can find. This one right here. There's a lot of things that you need to go through to find, and then on top of having those engines inspected, you know, whether it's the Detroit diesel or the cats, you want to make sure that those engines are running, especially if you truly are going to be that full-time cruiser. So that would be watch Jim and Stephanie's interview. I think you'll just find that interesting in your situation. Watch the used cruiser video and check into insurance if you're a first-time boat owner. Do those things, and then when you zero in on the right one, hire a surveyor. I can't stress that enough. On a boat like that, a 41, a 44, a surveyor is going to be able to get a good one, get the best one that you can find in your area, no matter what the cost, because they will help you avoid a, you know, $50, $100, $200,000 headache, whatever you end up spending on this, because they will find the things that you just wouldn't be able to. You wouldn't think to look. You wouldn't have the expertise. You wouldn't have the tools to you know, moisture meters and mirrors that stick in all different cracks and crevices, things like that. So hopefully, Taylor, that helps you there. Awesome, Corey, very good. Russ says, I've been towing tunes from the ski hook fiberglass boat. Don't like the idea. Lines down on the transom. Cautions can take to rope by the prop. Okay, so here's what you need, Russ. A booster ball. You need a booster ball that looks something like this. You can see all of the inflatable manufacturers have something, but essentially what it is just a big old ball that you float. There we go. That's the picture I was looking for. Just a big old ball that you float. You tie your tow line onto your harness, onto the booster ball, onto your tow line, onto your tube. Okay. And now what that's going to do is that's going to be a big old float between There we go. That's probably the best. There you go. That kind of shows it. You've got a big old float that's going to keep that line out of the prop. I don't use one, but that's just because I've been too lazy to order one and to get it. And but I'm with you. I don't like to tow it from the ski tow bar. I did a video on it the other day that talks about why I don't on the pontoons that I run, and why it's okay for some people to do it, and why some people haven't had an issue. But you can check that out on the channel. But that booster ball, Russ, is I think what you've been looking for. And what are they, 86, 87 bucks? And you'll be in business. All right. Can you over polish and wax your boat? Finding myself seeking every little nick and scratch by compound in a rag. Uh, there you go. If somebody's over polished his boat, it would be Brock, I'm guessing. Yeah, as long as you're using the right compounds, and every time you compound, you're taking the layer of wax off. So essentially that compound is gonna rub off that wax, and then you're gonna re-wax it. So I think you're gonna be okay. And yeah, you got to keep that Yamaha looking good. Best fit for a chip skeg, about 2 inches off the bottom, clean break. Okay, so broken skeg. So the skeg guard is probably the best option. And I don't care what brand. I don't necessarily have a brand. The skeg guard is sort of the Kleenex of it. But this is what it looks like. If it's not real bad, 2 inches. Let me see if I can find some images here. But if it's a chip like that, I don't know. Maybe I would want to do it. If you broke the whole thing off, now because that acts as a rudder, right? And it protects your prop. But if you've just chunked off that I would probably put a skeg guard on. Yeah, that's probably more than 2 inches. But so it just kind of depends. But this is what you're looking for. It just slips on. It kind of sleeves on the whole thing. And then here's the issue with these skeg guards, though, is now you've got to put a screw through your skeg and you sort of weaken it again. So just make sure you use the right drill bit to drill through it, so that you don't create another crack in that metal and another potential breaking point if you hit something. That's just, it's something to be aware of, I guess. It's not a huge problem. Like, it doesn't happen most of the time, but it can happen. And I want you to be aware of it. Make sure you use the proper drill bit, and get that on there if you're going to use one of those. And again, $77, $100. This one's on sale from Overton's. Overton's made me mad. I just ordered 3 new life jackets from Overton's the other day. And they were really cool looking. They were red, white, and blue. I loved them. They were on a big discount. And 3 weeks after I ordered it, they sent me a note saying, "Oh, we're out of them." And they credited me everything back, but I was expecting to have them for my trip to Tennessee for the week. They didn't show up, and while I was at Tennessee, I got the note that they all got canceled. So, but I've ordered tons of stuff from Overton's and never had that issue before. But that was kind of disappointing. All right, let's see, where are we at? Tom D, you could always pick up a battery powered generator. Yeah, that and solar. That's another option that it's as a battery tender. I think the solar option can be a pretty decent one. I don't know if anybody has experience on. I think, Brock, you may have mentioned a solar charger for a tender the other day. I think that was you. So if you have any suggestions there to throw out to Tom D, that would be awesome. Let's see here. All right. On a budget, recommend getting your boat ceramic coated. Have mine 6 months, very minimal maintenance required. Yeah, there's I've not done any of the ceramic coating. but I'll give a little shout out to, if you guys have our podcast listeners, there's a podcast called All Docked Up with Paulie and Captain Buzz. They're from the Chesapeake Bay area, up in Maryland, Delaware, Annapolis kind of area. And Captain Buzz is OUPV 6-pack captain, but Paulie is a detailer, a 20-year detailer. They're starting they started an app called oh shoot, what is it? They've got an app called All Docked Up. Yeah, so the app is called All Docked Up. It's, if you can see it there, it's a service platform for boaters up in the Maryland area, the Chesapeake Bay area, I guess, not Maryland specifically, but Chesapeake. And their goal, I guess, is to push it out nationally. And they've got a podcast, and they've talked to a couple ceramic coaters, and they just talk about how the prep is really the most important piece of that ceramic coating. And if you're interested in that, go through their podcast. They've been doing it for maybe 2 years or so. I've listened to probably half of them as I was driving back and forth to the Lake of the Ozarks and to Tennessee. I was catching up and listening to their podcast, and they're over the top energy guys, like opposite of me, but they seem to know what they're talking about, and they're doing a good educational, probably more entertainment than you get from me, but a lot of great education, and they've got the app as well. So, oh, you're welcome, Facebook user. Glad that you found us, and glad that you're getting value. Picked up the boat from the dealer. Hey, Charlie, if you would, Hux, if you would, like every year or so, just update us. And Brock, you too, since you're 6 months into it. Hey, it's still lasting. It's still lasting. Oh, I think we'll probably have to get it done this next coming season, just to get an idea for folks. Hey, this is how long it's lasting. We really like that. This is the maintenance that it saved us, or we still had to do this and I wasn't expecting it. That would be awesome if you guys would be willing to share that experience with everybody. Probably the best thing I've done for my Ranger. Hit it with ceramic detail, Adams polish when I wiped down. Damn near better than it did new. That's awesome. So Adams polish. Yeah, okay. So Hux was wondering that same question. So we'll see. Wayne the boat guy, welcome. Glad to have you. Paul, I appreciate you watching this. I just got a text from my buddy Paul that I know he's going to be a boat owner soon enough. He's just got 3 young kids, that one starting kindergarten, his oldest. So he's about at the age where they should be on the water. System X ceramic installed, instead of 5-year coating, as long as you're using the correct soaps to wash, maintenance sprays every 3 to 4 months. That's interesting. The maintenance sprays, I've not heard about that. Is that your Adams, the Adams polish that you're talking about, Brock? Okay, Rhonda had a rock jump out in front of her, which is very common in Myrtle Beach. There's a particular area where a whole bunch of rocks will jump out at you. That is, you can't see it during low tide or during high tide, and at low tide it can get your skeg. And a Mercury guy weld it back on. So if you still have it, or they can cut it and re-weld it. You want to make sure, if you're going to go that route with the welder, that other than the skeg guard, going back to that skeg guard question, if you're going to do that, make sure the welder understands that they have to be aware of the amount of heat they put on that lower unit, because that heat's going to transfer to the rest of the gear casing, and you can cause issues with the seals if you get everything too hot. So just make sure they're aware of that if you're going to go if you're going to go the welding route. Rhonda, if you don't mind me asking, how much do they charge you uh, to weld that skeg back on? Oh, Eric, did I miss your question? You might have been. Let's see here. Oh, okay. Eric was the skeg question. So, okay, this is back to the ceramic coating. Use the Adam Ceramic Detail Spray as the maintenance spray. They said you can use any of the detail sprays that are graphene. And I didn't realize that the way the ceramic coating work, like what the I don't know, the science of it all, the chemicals that were all happening. That was really interesting in that podcast with the All Docked Up guys. All right, cool. That, yeah, find something good and stick with it. No reason to change. Concerned about gases being overcharged, sport cabin by Defiance. Tom, I have not heard of any issues with that. I guess the one thing it depends on what year you're looking at, but most of the boats that have some sort of an onboard charging system where you plug it in, or your shore power is going to charge your battery bank, or your generator can charge your battery bank if you hit the switches. Most of those are going to have a smart on off switch. When it gets to a certain level, it's going to shut it down so that you don't overcharge things. I don't know when that technology became commonplace. So I don't know enough about that Defiance 22. Matter of fact, I don't know anything about it. Let me see if I can pull it up here. And I can't spell worth a lick, so I got to look at Defiance 220. All right. Oh, this is kind of that XO type boat. All right. So the Defiance, a walk around. All right. So I'm just going to assume it's something like that. Yeah, if it's a new one, it's going to have that smart technology where it's going to trickle it, and it's going to shut it off when it needs to be shut off, so you don't overcharge. And you don't. I saw a picture of a battery that blew up the other day because of that, because it was overcharged. And so it's a real issue. But I think on a newer boat like that, I think you're going to be okay. If it's an older one, you just want to find out, all right, what's the technology that's in place? How does it work? And do I maybe want to upgrade it if that's a concern that you have? But it's nothing that I personally have ever heard a story about. That doesn't mean it hasn't happened. Obviously, you are aware of it, so it's something that's in your have experienced or heard about. But I don't know that it's super common. 950 new propeller. I might have messed that up too. Yeah. So, okay. So the propeller was probably a decent chunk of that. So you can back to Eric, is you have those two options to ask about. If it's a smaller section, maybe they can weld it on even cheaper. And then if they sand it and paint it down, you won't even be able to tell if they do a good job. And if you make sure they keep the temperature down on that gear casing. Remember I had back in the 05 3-bank onboard charger that was smart. Okay, so that's what, 16, 17 years that they've been out there in the marketplace. So I know that they're common to be smart chargers, but if you're looking new, I would almost guarantee, Tom, that it's going to be that. Hydrogen release when charging a lead acid battery can be explosive. Is that, Al, is that just when it's overcharged? Um, hydrogen. When the lead acid battery cell blows or becomes incapable of being charged properly, the amount of hydrogen produced can increase catastrophically. Hydrogen is not toxic, but at high concentrations, it's a highly explosive gas. Okay, so that it seems like when there's okay, always. It seems like from what this is saying, and you know the internet's always right, incapably of being charged properly. So it sounds like when there's an issue with the battery of some sort, which maybe it just got dinged up and it cracked a section of it or something. But so okay, that's interesting to me. I was not aware of that. I'm not if you've watched this enough, you know sometimes on the technical questions is I have to defer to other folks. I don't know if let's see. Choose getting drained. This Lensco's lessons in boating. Sean there does a great job. That's looks like it's more about maintenance though. Um, but his channel's really good. They're a dealer up in Canada. I don't see any other. I was wondering if Dangar Marine or if Born Again Boating, if he had a good one, but I'm not seeing anything. Not seeing anything really there. So I'm gonna have to defer on any other than reading what I can Google, which you guys can do that. So, but I like that. That's a kind of a sharp boat. Parker looks like some of the Parkers that were out there with that little cabin on that one. Let's see what the San Juan looks like since we're here. Okay, so just another little pilot house, and then the center console. Huh, that's interesting. Where are these guys out of? Washington. Okay. I can see that boat being popular up there. All right. So anyway, um, all right. Red Thumper 9. I've been using McGuire's hybrid ceramic spray on wax, my Yamaha 242 as well as their detailer. Realize it's not true ceramic coating, but I've had outstanding results. Um, yeah, it's, you know, for me, the big thing is keeping it clean and keeping a layer of protection on. If the ceramic coating is the way you like to go, if you like to do the wax every year or twice a year, if you're in the salt and the sun, down in Florida, down the Gulf Coast, something like that. But if you're on an inland lake, you can get away with waxing the boat once a year, and really just keeping it clean and keeping it protected will go a long way to make your boat look good for a lot of years. So, um, all right, you're welcome, Tom. I wish I had a little bit more specific insight for you, but hopefully you got something out of that. All right, so we're coming up on about 50 minutes here. I'm going to do my quick commercial. Um, now that we've given some value here, and if you've got questions, just drop them in the chat, and I will get back to them. We'll do the quick little. Come on, go over there. All right, so we've got if you're shopping for a boat, if you're in that phase of things, check out the Boat Buyer's Toolkit. Boat Buyer's Toolkit. It's totally free. It's 25 pages. I just turned myself off so you can't see me flashing my fancy Boat Buyer's Toolkit. It's 25 pages, checklists, how to demo a boat, inspecting trailers. I mean, it's going to walk you through that whole process. You can get that free at boatbuyerstoolkit.com. If you're a boat owner, especially if you're a newer boat owner, you're kind of new to the boating lifestyle. You're like, there's things I just know I don't know. The Boater Bootcamp will answer a lot of those for you. It's a 3-part video series. You can get that free at boaterbootcamp.com. And the big thing with the Boater Bootcamp is I'm going to take you from the systems, the engine systems on an outboard, on a stern drive, so that you just kind of get, all right, these are the important things I need to know, like running the blower. You know, some people, it fascinates me that they have a stern drive and they don't know how important running that blower is, or even what it does. Especially if you buy a used boat and nobody explains it to you. So I try to answer a lot of those type of questions for you. Navigation, rules of the road, just things you need to know before you hit the water for the first time. And then emergencies, what to do if things go bad. Because when you're on the water and you're running the boat, you're responsible for everybody on board. So we talk about that as well. And then we have, if you struggle handling your boat, docking your boat, just maneuvering and putting the boat where you want it to go, the best boat captain on the water, that program will fix it. I'm super, super proud of all the results that we've gotten for people that have never operated a boat before. They take this course and they can actually put the boat where they want it on the dock, in the slip. Trailer Like a Pro allows them to put it on the trailer. Never having done it before, just give you the things that you need to understand so that you can do it and not struggle. That's the big thing. I want you to be out on the water having fun and enjoying your time. I've been doing it for a long time. I learned just sort of by osmosis. My dad running the boat, since I was a kid, him letting us run the boat when we were 15, 16 years old, him letting us keep the boat at the marina that I worked at when I was in college. And I've just been around it. So I just know. And then when I was selling boats, I would train first time boaters, and I got really good at explaining these things that were brand new to people. And I really enjoyed it. So you get all of that advantage. Tow water sports with confidence. We've got the Boating Fun Amplifier Toolkit, which is kind of a hodgepodge of different things that I didn't know what to call it, but these are all things that you'll want to know, need to know at certain times. And so I just put them all together, and it's just sort of a bunch of random things. And if you're shopping for a boat, the First Time Boat Buyers Academy is awesome. It'll take you through. We've got I looked the other day, almost 400 videos on the channel, and there's a lot of information there. In the academy, I kind of break it out. It's simpler, it's more condensed, and there's also a big section on negotiation that even during this whole pandemic, I was getting emails from people saying, "Hey, save $1,500, save $2,000, save $2,500. Hey, they threw in this because of when I was working with the dealer, they threw in that, which saved me another big chunk of change." So, and everything comes with my personal Happy Boater 100% money back guarantee. If for whatever reason you're like, nope, this isn't what I wanted, it didn't give me the value, I don't like you, ask for a refund, you'll get it. I don't have any desire to fight with people to keep their money. If they're not happy, you get your money back. And that's the way that I have chosen to do it. So, all right, there's that part of it. Back to why you came here. All right, Jack, not sure you've talked about it already. Have a video to check out. I've heard some say in a fascist book, there's my reading skills, fascist book comment saying that the boat prices are heading way down, saying not to buy now. So, Jack, I talked about it a little bit. I would agree that we're at a point where they're not going up anymore, in my opinion. I think everything's going to level off. What I disagree with is that there's going to be a huge crash. You've been hearing it from Facebook's experts for the last year and a half, 2 years, really since the boom has happened, is, oh, all of these COVID boaters, they're going to be realizing how expensive it is, and they don't have time to get out, and gas prices were up to $5 a gallon. The market's going to be flooded with used boats. Market's going to be flooded with people that can't afford it. All the government money ran out. I don't think that's the case. The people that bought these boats were in the higher portion of the household income, the household wealth category. So it's not like they were living paycheck to paycheck. They got 2,500, 2 grand, 3 grand, 500 a month from the, all of the stimulus money and said, let's go buy a boat. And then they bought $100,000 boat. That's just not how it worked. That may have been what happened in the auto industry. But I don't think that was as common in the boating world. So yes, there are, as travel opens back up, as other vacations options open back up, I think there are some people that are going to say, you know what, boating's not for us. I didn't take the best boat captain course, and man, it's hard. I struggle at the boat ramp. I'm yelling at my kids. It's not relaxing. It's not fun. And there are going to be a group of people that get out of boating. But even in the best of times, there's a 30% turnaround of first-time boaters. Within the first 5 years, about 30% of first-time boaters historically have gotten out of boating. So that's nothing new. The other thing why I don't think there's going to be a falling off the cliff is because they only produced on the new side. They only put an extra 10% more boats into the market, maybe 15 in some segments into the market from 2018, 2019. So yes, we hit records, but it's not like they hit 150% of units sold. They couldn't build them fast enough. There were supply chain issues. So the demand was there, but they didn't flood the market with new boats. So because of that, and because of there's normally a little bit of a turnaround, and there's still good demand, and there's still backlogs of new boats. If you go to a dealer right now in some categories, you still can't get a boat for 12 months. Some dealers have inventory, but there's a lot of categories where you still are going to wait for a new boat. And especially higher horsepower center consoles. Yamaha's still having issues getting 300s out. Brock talked about it on the live last week. That what was it, C Pro, I think, C Pro or C Fox, that he can see out from his house. He can see a couple hundred boats sitting there with no motors waiting. So there's all of those things tell me that we'll see a plateau, maybe a dip, but I don't think we're going to see a crash. But I will say, if you are looking to buy a boat and you don't need your boat right now, you're not like, hey, we got a vacation and we want to be on the water before Labor Day. We've got a fishing tournament we want to hit. We got some reason that we need to be on the water now. You're like, but we want a boat for next year. We're just thinking about it. Then I would say, wait till Labor Day. Wait till Labor Day, buy in October, November, December. Caveat, don't buy if you can't demo the boat. So if don't buy in December in Minnesota, if you can't run the boat, if it's could come back and bite you. So that caveat notwithstanding, I would wait until after Labor Day. And then I would say, okay, if there's a deal to be had, especially if you're buying from a private seller, especially if you're buying from a dealer that feels like they're carrying too much used inventory, they're really nervous about getting stuck with too much inventory going into 2023. Maybe you can strike a little bit better deal. But when the season kicks off and boat show kicks off in January, February 2023, I think we're just going to see prices being flat. That's my crystal ball. So hopefully that helps you there, Jack. Get started on the boot camp. Awesome, Corey. Glad to have you in that. See a slight decline. Yeah. So 211. Okay. Yeah. So hopefully 211 Hermione. No. Hemaram. Anyway, 211. I'll call you that. On now. Here's the thing with the more expensive boats. This conversation that's interesting because I just had this with my father-in-law and their neighbor who is looking at buying. He's got a 2001 230 Sea Ray Signature. Awesome boat. I love that boat. But it's got 500-600 hours on it, and he's got to have some work done on it. He hit a log, and so he was like, the boat's in the repair shop. Maybe I'll just start looking. Well, he looks at this 308 Cobalt 302, 308, twin engine, 30-foot Cobalt that he loved. He's like, should I buy it? I said, listen, I told him exactly what I said to you right now is I said, Mike, for me, I would wait till after Labor Day because that boat, especially that boat, so it's a big 30-foot bow rider. There's only a certain number of people that want that boat. So depending on what your $180,000 boat is, 211, if it's a big bow rider, there's only a handful of lakes, a handful of bodies of water where they want that. If it has a stern drive, now you're just inland lakes. If it's got an outboard, yeah, you can see those on the coast, and you're seeing more and more of them. But the bigger center consoles are what they're going to, lean towards there. And even now, some of the bigger pontoons that they're spending that kind of money on. So it depends on the type of boat. Depends on if you're buying new. Depends on the dealer. How much inventory do they have? Some dealers still don't have any inventory. They're not going to discount much of anything. There's a handful of dealers out there that are carrying more inventory than they probably should right now. But I would say that's less than 5% of them. So maybe there's the opportunity to negotiate with them. But it's when you start getting to that, are prices going to decline? Is the boom done? I think the boom is done, but are the prices going to decline? Maybe you'll find it in boat by boat segments. But I don't think overall you're gonna see it. So, all right, and I need to get on making that video because the last one I did was in April 26th, I think was the date of it, and I said we need to get through the 4th of July so I can start seeing where things are going to go. And I think now I'm almost like I'm going to wait till Labor Day, but I need to do one now so that I can do one maybe in October, about a month after Labor Day. So, all right. Corey, the boot camp's well worth your time. You'll learn a ton. Courses, able to get the boat on and off water, leave the channel and so forth. Yeah. Thank you, Hux. I appreciate that. Hux was a first-time boater. He found me during his search as he was looking at buying the Yamaha, bought the Yamaha, started going through the programs. And I'm glad that we were able to be a small part of him having a great time on the water with his family. So, all right, Thursday, had a delivery of a 2022 Tahoe T18 with the Mercury 115 Pro XS, deck boat bow rider hybrid, pressed with the power handling, and it sips fuel. Yeah, that Pro XS is a great motor. That, a matter of fact, I've run, what year is there's a pontoon I run that's got probably a 2014 Pro XS. I just ran on that 2019, I think it was. I did a review online, a 2019 2150 Tahoe deck boat that had the 150 Pro XS, and that's awesome. Congratulations on that boat. Again, if you didn't hear, if you're new to it, go to the boot camp, boaterbootcamp.com, and check that out. I think you'll be glad you did. 29,000 plus a few more for options, taxes. New Jersey warranty coming in now, 6,000 higher. That's really interesting. That at Bass Pro, yeah, Brock, you run a Pro XS. That's right. The 250. There are a good running engines. That's interesting that you're seeing them 6,000 higher on those 2013s. But I think that price increase, you said yours was a 2022, that price increase hit probably back in June is when I was starting to hear people saying that they were raising the prices for the 2023 models. And so I kind of already baked that in, but that's interesting. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. So, all right, everybody, we've just hit over an hour. Yeah, when you run anything wide open throttle, Brock, it's not sipping nothing. Not sipping nothing. So, oh, hey, real quick, I'll throw this out there. I am on August 9th and 10th. I'm going to be shooting some video up in Ohio It's near Akron, Ohio. It's called Lake Portage, and we're trying to line up some extras just to help out, to have on standby. So if anybody happens to be near Akron, Ohio, near Lake Portage, I think I'm saying that right. For the most part, we've got the boats lined up. I think we're good there. We've got the main people that are going to be in the videos there. I'm going to be up there. It's going to be really interesting. But if you happen to be in the area, you want to get involved, reach out to me, shoot me an email, and at captain@Boater Secret Weapon, and I'll give you some of the details and see if we can coordinate it, and maybe have you be in a couple of some funny videos that we're trying to shoot. That will be a brand new world for me. So thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. We will catch you all next Sunday for our Sunday live. Thanks for everybody that joined, and have a good night, everybody. Have a great week. Take care. Thanks, Jack.